Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they quit when things get uncomfortable. Mental toughness is the skill that keeps you moving forward when motivation disappears, and it's what separates fast learners from everyone else. Today, you'll learn 5 powerful ways to build it and accelerate any goal you're chasing. First, train your tolerance for discomfort. Growth lives in the moments your brain wants to escape, not in the moments everything feels smooth. If you only work when conditions are perfect, progress crawls. If you can work through boredom, frustration, and hard practice, progress compounds. Here is how to build it. Choose one skill that matters and schedule a short discomfort block, no longer than 20 to 25 minutes. Before you begin, mark a tiny target. 1 page, 5 problems, 1 drill. Then start a timer, breathe low and slow through your nose, and commit to finishing the block even if your mood shifts. Expect your mind to bargain. It will say this is pointless, that you're behind, that you should check a message. Smile at the noise, label it as a distraction, and return attention to the next rep. When the block ends, stop on time, jot 2 quick notes about what felt hard and what you will change tomorrow, and move on. Common errors will slow you down. Going too hard too soon turns practice into punishment. Start small and increase length or intensity by 10% per week. Picking tasks that are too easy keeps you busy, but not better. Choose a challenge that makes you fail about 20% of the time. Quitting the second you feel stuck trains avoidance. Stay for 1 more minute and do 1 more deliberate rep. Helpful shortcuts make discomfort sustainable. Use a friction log to note exactly when and why you tend to quit, then remove 1 obstacle at a time. Create a ritual that pairs hard work with something pleasant, like a specific playlist or a favorite tea so your brain predicts reward at the start. Finish sessions with a micro win you can praise, reinforcing the identity of someone who stays when it's hard. Second, focus on the process, not just the outcome. Goals give direction, but the process creates the results you want. When you obsess over the finish line, your anxiety increases and your performance drops. When you narrow your focus to controllable actions, confidence rises because you can win today. Translate that philosophy into daily steps. Define success for the day as finishing your practice block and logging what you learned. Choose 1 metric you control, such as minutes practiced, deliberate reps completed, or feedback implemented, and track it visibly. Build a simple checklist that starts with the first move you will take the moment you sit down, removing the need to decide. Expect 2 traps. The first is scoreboard addiction, constantly checking results, views, ranks, or pounds lost instead of doing the reps. To fix it, decide when you will review outcomes like once a week, and keep your attention on today's inputs the rest of the time. The second is plan worship, clinging to a perfect plan even when feedback shows it is flawed. Solve this by running tiny experiments, comparing the data, and letting the better method win. Third, replace motivation with discipline. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine that keeps turning when weather, mood, or novelty fade. Begin by designing a minimum viable routine that you can complete on your worst days, not your best, because consistency under pressure is what builds trust in yourself. In the next segment, you will harden that routine with cues, constraints, and recovery so it becomes nearly automatic. Quick recap to lock it in. You trained tolerance for discomfort with short, deliberate blocks, calm breathing, and post-session notes, avoiding the traps of overdoing, under-challenging, and quitting too early. You shifted attention from outcomes to process by defining controllable daily wins, tracking 1 input, and running small experiments to adapt fast. Next, you will turn discipline into your default, then learn to convert failure into feedback and master your focus when pressure hits. Now harden your minimum viable routine so it runs even when willpower is low. First, anchor it to a cue that already happens every day. Tie the first action to breakfast or the moment you open your laptop so the environment, not emotion, starts the engine. Second, add a constraint that makes drifting impossible. Use a timer, a blocker, or a checklist in plain sight. Third, install a recovery rule that keeps consistency alive without pretending you are a robot. If sleep breaks or emergencies happen, execute a tiny version, then stop. This preserves identity and prevents the all-or-nothing crash. Common mistakes show up quickly. People stack too many cues and forget them all, so choose one and rehearse it aloud. People pick constraints that are easy to ignore, so make them binary. Airplane mode, timer running. People also punish themselves on bad days, which turns tomorrow into avoidance. Praise the kept promise, not the missed volume. A helpful shortcut is to prepare the night before. Stage tools, open the file, and write a one-line plan beginning with a verb so you can start within 30 seconds tomorrow. Add social friction that points you toward the right choice. Tell a friend when your block starts, join a quiet co-working room, or place a visible calendar where a broken chain stings. Use a weekly review, glance at your inputs, adjust the cue, constraint, or recovery rule, and set one experiment for next week. Avoid the trap of heroic streaks followed by burnout. Cap sessions at a length you can repeat tomorrow, and leave a few minutes of appetite at the end so you want to return. When setbacks happen, the disciplined person does not negotiate. They execute the minimum, log a sentence, and reset the next cue. That mindset carries straight into the next principle. Turn failure into feedback by building a fast loop that converts mistakes into adjustments. First, perform a 1-minute pre-mortem before tough reps. Name the most likely failure and write the countermove you will try if it appears. Second, after each block, run a short after-action review. What happened, why, and what one thing will change next time. Keep it brutally specific, not biographical. Third, set an error budget. Decide how many misses, rejections, or flawed takes you will collect this week and treat each one as a required data point. This reframes hits as bonuses and keeps you swinging. Common errors include taking failure personally, expanding a single miss into a self-story, and overreacting with total strategy changes. Solve them by labeling the event with neutral language, comparing performance to an objective checklist instead of your mood, and changing only one variable at a time. Use a highlight reel of mistakes to practice corrections on purpose. Recreate the scenario, slow it down, exaggerate the fix, and then return to full speed. Log the new cue you noticed, the adjustment you made, and the result, so your future self can reuse the lesson under pressure. Momentum grows when every miss buys information. Control your focus and inner dialogue, so pressure sharpens performance. Define the next visible action before every block and hold attention on that verb, not outcomes. Use an if-then script to redirect wandering thoughts. If my mind jumps to results, then I name one sensory detail and return to the task. Add a one-breath reset between reps. Inhale slowly, long exhale, and say, back to work. Give your brain a short list of cue words that compress technique into handles, like tall, smooth, or through. Visualize the movement from a first-person angle for 5 seconds, then do the rep immediately. Remove avoidable noise, close extra tabs, silence notifications, put the phone out of reach, and choose music without lyrics. Expect common pitfalls, multitasking posing as productivity, catastrophizing mid-rep, and hostile self-talk that steals bandwidth. Solve them by time-boxing tasks, saving analysis for after the block, and speaking like a calm coach using specific, actionable phrases. Where your focus goes, your performance follows. Lock in the habit of coming back to the next action, and pressure starts turning into a performance ally. When the clock is ticking or the room feels loud, shrink the moment until only the verb remains. Write, solve, lift, call, deliver. Pair that verb with a single cue word you trust and a one-breath reset. You are not chasing a mood, you are executing a rep. If worry spikes, label it, thank it for the warning, and place it on a shelf while you take the next step. The mind quiets when the body moves with intention, and toughness deepens when you keep choosing the smallest true action. Put everything together with a simple weekly protocol that accelerates skill without drama. First, choose one target skill and define a clear minimum block you can repeat 4 days this week. Next, set your discomfort dial. Pick a drill that stretches you 10 to 20% beyond comfort, not 100. Then, protect the block with a start cue, a visible constraint, and a recovery rule so the streak survives life's noise. After each block, run the quick feedback loop. A 1-minute pre-mortem before, a 3-line review after, and one small change for tomorrow. Throughout the block, replace motivation with discipline by following the checklist, not your feelings, and cap the session with appetite to spare. Finally, direct focus with your cue words, a 5-second first-person visualization, and a 1-breath reset between reps. Expect a few traps. Overhauling everything at once turns learning into a circus. Keep the change to one variable and measure it. Perfectionism masquerades as standards, but really delays action. Start messy, finish clean. Novelty craving will tempt you to switch drills too soon. Commit to a 2-week runway before evaluating. Comparison steals attention. Close the app, open your log, and race your yesterday. Self-criticism can sound like discipline, but quietly bleeds energy. Adopt the calm coach voice that names behaviors and prescribes the next cue. Here's how a day might flow. You approach your block at the same hour, glance at your checklist, and say the cue word. You inhale, lengthen the exhale, and begin. A mistake appears. You note it, execute the counter-move you planned, and continue. Midway, your mind jumps to outcomes. You anchor to one sensory detail, then return to the verb. The timer ends with 2 minutes left. You stop on purpose, log 1 sentence, set tomorrow's micro-experiment, and close with gratitude for the reps earned. Nothing heroic, yet momentum compounds because the system is easy to repeat. Run that day 14 times, and the curve bends. In 30 days, you will feel less negotiation, fewer emotional spikes, and more clean starts. In 90, the identity shift is obvious. You're the person who shows up, learns quickly, and stays steady when conditions wobble. Fast progress stops being mysterious and starts looking like boring, repeatable mechanics. That's the quiet superpower of mental toughness. It makes the right action the normal action. Quick recap for your notebook. Growth lives in discomfort, so practice staying present when it's hard. Process beats obsession with outcomes, so win the day you can control. Discipline carries you when motivation stalls, so anchor to checklists and cues. Failure becomes feedback when you loop pre-mortems and after-action reviews. Focus and inner dialogue steer performance, so choose the next verb, breathe, and speak like a coach. Tie these together with a weekly protocol, keep variables stable, and let time do its compounding work. Commit to this for the next week, track wins, and watch resistance shrink as your reps stack up. The process will start carrying you faster than motivation could. If this video motivated you to push further and build real mental toughness, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps me keep creating content that pushes you to grow. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 tips do you need to work on the most right now? And why?